Hello everybody, it's Elena. I'd like to share with you this book. It is a Shabby vintage book I made for Liquita, who's Pampered Petals on YouTube, as a big thank you because her videos are an endless source of inspiration to me. Also, she's such a lovely lady, and if you're not familiar with her, I will link down below her channel. And please check it out because she makes outstanding projects. This book was inspired by Rosanne, who's Roxycar11 on YouTube, and I will link her channel down below too. And she's what I call the queen of scraps and shabby vintage. She makes such beautiful things. And this is the very last book I put together by hand sewing, because now I have a sewing machine. And I built up the book with felt covered with genuine vintage pieces of curtains. And most of the elements in the book are genuine vintage. Some are made by me, some are bought, but the majority of them are vintage. All the images I've used are from Pinterest. I printed them all on cotton, and I also printed some sentences I loved. The theme of the book is the love between mothers and daughters, and as you can see, I put this, mothers and daughters, on the front. For the first and last page, I've used this big crochet. It was a curtain. I bought it like this. It is vintage, and of course, to achieve the shabby look, I didn't tidy up all the sides and the bottom and the top. You see how it is. I just cut it, and the same goes for the laces and trims. The laces I've used, not the trims. And then I added just a piece of vintage doily. You see the side is not tidied up, which came quite difficult for me because I always want to have everything properly finished. But this, I love this style, I'm so happy I managed to achieve it. Then there's some vintage trim going on from the back to the front page, and I left the back page quite plain because there's a lot going on in the book, and I formed here just a pocket, and I will put things inside. And there's some, this is the end of a skirt, and I won't point out everything because I don't want the video to be too long, or else it would take ages to upload. So on the front you can see I've used lots of buttons in the book. This one I crocheted, and then I just added some organza underneath. Then there are lots of things tea-dyed and avocado dyed. And here I created 2 more pockets, one here and one in the folded doily. And I crocheted this carnation flower with a thread of this color. I didn't dye it, sorry. And you see laces poking here and there. There are lots of dangling fabric. And now the second page, it's a pocket page. I built it up using, this is a booklet I'll show you later that goes inside the pocket. So I built the pocket using, this is linen, sort of linen, I think, because I don't know fabrics very well. And there's one pocket here, another in diagonal here, and a metal piece, and then all the tea-dyed lace. And this is a piece of a very old doily. And then this page, there are just images. I just edged this one with twine. There's another little pocket here, and you see this is a piece of a vintage curtain that he dyed. And the pom-poms, of course, are not vintage, and I dyed them all. And I just added a touch of color, adding this wonderful trim. And then for the central pages, unlike what I usually do, I didn't add anything to mark the center of the book, because I covered both pages with a very big doily. It was vintage, and it is vintage, sorry, and it is very beautiful with a wonderful pattern. So I didn't want to cover it even in the center, because it's covered enough. And for this page I stitched around the image, and there's a beautiful, vintage applique. I made this flower following a tutorial by Colette Garland, who's Country Creations on YouTube, and it is a flower all made from scraps. And here is a piece. This is wonderful. It was a table mat I bought at the seaside. It is so beautiful, so patterned and raised. And I assume the vendor didn't even know what he was selling, because it was a true bargain. And there are lots of things. I mean, it's big enough to cut out lots of things and use them in projects. Then there's this page, which has a pocket also, and I stitched this sentence. I found beautiful sentences on Pinterest, and I write them down and printed them on cotton, and it says, "A daughter is just a little girl who grows up to be your best friend." Oh, and also there's another one I skipped before, sorry, and this is so sweet. It says, "The little feet make the biggest impression in our heart." And I stitched it all around. And in this page I just added some pearls. I didn't do this, I didn't make it, sorry, I bought it. It was in a kit I bought a long time ago. And some more of that table mat I showed you before. And I still had a big central piece. And then I added some more color here with this gorgeous trim. It comes from Annie, Mrs. Garden Grove 1. And it is very delicate. It has different shades of mauve and dark green, muted green. I avocado dyed this piece that goes on the side, and you see more dangling fabric and doilies here. And the next page is another beautiful image with some more trims. It is from Annie too. And there's this one. I just had one of them. It is very old. And again I stitched around a little sentiment saying, "I'm always with you, be brave, have courage and love life." And this lady is with a baby. Then I formed a bow with the tulle and just added a key in the center. And here, the last page, there's a sepia image and more vintage doilies here and there, and this one is gorgeous. It is a vintage placemat. I cut a side of it, and it is so textured and gorgeous, and the color was already this fleshy pink. I didn't dye it. I made just a little flower. I crocheted just a little flower, added a piece of sorry, I'm sorry, I just added a piece of dangle trim at the bottom, and I formed another page with this crochet trim. Here is a connector of a vintage table runner again. I added buttons, there are many buttons here and there, and here we go. So this is the complete book, and it ties with some crushed silk seam binding. And so this is it. I just show the booklet I made to go in this pocket. So I made this tiny book, and again I've used this piece from the very same table mat. I cut 2 diagonal pieces, and I truly love it. And on top there's a fringe which is vintage, and inside I just added this tassel trim all around the book, but on top the fringe, the tassels are inside. In my opinion, Liquita can change this book if she wants. She can add something to turn it into a cover for a notebook, or use it as a needle book. So I just left it plain, and she can use it as it is or transform it into something different. And I just added in the center this beautiful beaded trim, and on the spine there are the beautiful loop flowers with pearls in the center. And it goes inside this pocket, which is big enough to hold it. I hope you like this book, and see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.